Have you ever heard someone proudly say, "I walk 5 miles every single day, and that's why I'm healthy"? Well, if you're over 70, doing too much of that might actually be speeding up your aging instead of slowing it down. I know that sounds shocking, maybe even a little uncomfortable to hear, but stay with me because this is one of the biggest mistakes I see seniors making when it comes to staying fit, staying active, and staying young. And the good news is there's a much better, far more effective alternative that protects your joints, boosts your energy, and keeps your muscles strong long into your 80s and 90s. So before you go out for your next long walk or increase your steps thinking it's automatically the healthiest thing you can do, let's talk about what your body actually needs at your age and what you should be doing instead to age slower, feel stronger, and stay independent for decades to come.
Walking has long been hailed as one of the healthiest activities, something everyone can do without expensive equipment or a gym membership, and many people over 70 embrace it, thinking it's the ultimate fountain of youth. The image of seniors happily strolling in parks, counting steps, and hitting 10,000 every day is everywhere, but the reality is far more nuanced than most realize. When you cross that 70-year threshold, your body starts to respond differently to repetitive, high-volume activities like long-distance walking. It's not that walking is bad, it's that doing too much can actually place chronic stress on muscles, joints, and connective tissue, slowly accelerating wear and tear over time. For instance, your cartilage, the cushioning between your joints, becomes thinner and less resilient as you age. This means that walking long distances day after day, especially on hard surfaces, can create microtraumas in your knees, hips, and ankles. Over time, these small strains accumulate, leading to
After you hit 70, your body is no longer the same as it was in your 40s or 50s, and this changes everything about how you should approach fitness and movement. What used to work for you might not only be ineffective now, but could even be counterproductive if done excessively or without attention to your body's new needs. One of the biggest changes is in your hormones, which play a crucial role in maintaining muscle, bone density, energy, and overall vitality. Testosterone, estrogen, growth hormone, and insulin-like growth factor naturally decline with age, and these shifts affect the way your body responds to exercise. Movements that might have built muscle or strengthened your heart in your 40s may no longer have the same impact unless they are tailored to your current physiology. Your bones are another area where aging has a significant effect. After 70, bone density tends to decline, particularly in women due to hormonal changes, but also in men as testosterone levels drop. This means that repetitive, low-resistance exercises like long walks, while keeping you moving, do very little to stimulate bone strength, which is essential to prevent fractures and maintain mobility. The risk is that you can become very active without actually addressing one of the most critical aspects of aging, maintaining strong, resilient bones that support independence. Muscles also behave differently after 70. Sarcopenia, the natural loss of muscle mass and strength, accelerates in these years, and recovery time increases significantly. Muscle fibers shrink and become less efficient, meaning that your body can no longer handle high volumes of repetitive movement in the same way it once did. When you walk excessively, your muscles may fatigue without actually building strength, leaving you weaker over time. This is why so many seniors feel exhausted from activity without seeing tangible improvements in their mobility or energy levels. Joint health changes too. Cartilage thins, ligaments lose elasticity, and tendons become less resilient, making joints more susceptible to overuse injuries. Walking on flat or hard surfaces day after day can create subtle stress that accumulates over time. You may not notice it immediately, but small joint inflammation, stiffness, or discomfort can develop, and it can slowly reduce your ability to move freely, ironically counteracting the very activity you thought was helping you stay young. Balance and coordination are other critical factors that shift with age. The inner ear, vision, and proprioception, the sense of where your body is in space, gradually decline, which makes falls more likely. Simply walking in a straight line doesn't challenge these systems enough to maintain sharp balance or improve stability, leaving seniors more vulnerable to slips or missteps. Your cardiovascular system also adapts differently after 70. While walking is gentle on the heart and can support circulation, it may not provide enough of a stimulus to keep the cardiovascular system robust in the way interval training, resistance exercises, or short bursts of higher intensity movement can. This means you might feel like you're doing all the right things by staying active, but your heart and blood vessels aren't being challenged in ways that maximize longevity and vitality. Another change is in metabolism. Older adults tend to burn fewer calories at rest, and muscle loss compounds this effect. Walking alone doesn't sufficiently counteract these changes because it primarily targets endurance, not the preservation of lean muscle mass that drives metabolism. Without maintaining muscle through resistance or strength-based movements, seniors risk slowly losing metabolic efficiency, which can lead to fatigue, weight gain, and decreased energy. Flexibility and mobility are additional factors that deteriorate over time. Your range of motion can shrink, and muscles and connective tissue tighten. Long, repetitive walks don't typically improve flexibility in the hips, shoulders, or spine, which can lead to stiff movement patterns and increase the likelihood of injury or falls. Mental sharpness and neurological function are also linked to the type of exercise you perform. While walking does offer cognitive benefits, studies show that combining strength, balance, and mobility work has a more profound effect on neuroplasticity, memory, and mental alertness in older adults. This is because these activities require coordination, focus, and engagement of multiple muscle groups simultaneously, stimulating the brain more than walking in a straight line for hours at a time. Recovery is another major factor that changes dramatically after 70. Whereas younger adults can bounce back from daily activity with minimal attention to rest, older adults need more deliberate recovery, including sleep, proper nutrition, stretching, and sometimes physical therapy to maintain optimal function. Overdoing walking without integrating recovery strategies can lead to chronic fatigue, lingering soreness, and a subtle but persistent inflammatory state that accelerates aging rather than slows it. Emotional and psychological health also shifts with age, influencing how your body responds to exercise. Stress, anxiety, or fear of injury can create tension in muscles and joints, which reduces the effectiveness of your movements and slows recovery. Walking excessively without variety can amplify these stresses because your routine becomes repetitive and monotonous, reducing enjoyment and engagement while increasing the risk of overuse injuries. Another overlooked change is that your connective tissues, like tendons and ligaments, become less pliable over time. This means that movements requiring sudden shifts or changes in direction can be more challenging and prone to strain. Walking alone rarely addresses these tissues, which are essential for preventing falls and maintaining agility. Even the nervous system adapts differently after 70. Reaction times slow, motor units and muscles fire less efficiently, and coordination declines, all of which require exercises that challenge multiple systems simultaneously, rather than just linear endurance. Finally, nutrition becomes more critical as your body changes. Protein intake, vitamin D, calcium, and omega-3 fatty acids play a larger role in supporting muscle and bone health, and without adequate nutrition, the benefits of any activity, including walking, are blunted. In other words, after 70, your body needs a more targeted approach to exercise and lifestyle because simply repeating movements that worked in your 40s will not produce the same results. Your muscles, bones, joints.
Muscle loss is one of the most critical yet underestimated challenges seniors face as they age, and it's directly tied to how we move or fail to move our bodies effectively after 70. Many older adults assume that simply staying active, taking long walks, or performing light cardio is enough to maintain their strength. But the truth is that walking alone does very little to preserve the muscle mass that supports mobility, balance, and independence. After 70, the body naturally begins a process called sarcopenia, where both the size and number of muscle fibers decline. This reduction in muscle tissue doesn't just make you weaker. It has profound effects on your metabolism, bone health, coordination, and even how you perform everyday tasks like standing from a chair, climbing stairs, or carrying groceries. The problem is compounded when seniors rely excessively on walking because it is a repetitive, low-resistance activity that primarily uses the same limited set of muscles. While your legs are moving, the effort is often insufficient to stimulate meaningful muscle growth or maintenance. Without this stimulus, your body essentially says, "We don't need these muscles at full strength anymore," and gradually allows them to shrink and weaken. Over time, this leads to the all-too-common scenario where seniors feel tired, lose stamina, and struggle with basic movements despite being physically active.
It's a frustrating paradox. You can be walking every day, yet still lose the very muscles that keep you strong and youthful. Muscle loss isn't just a matter of appearance or feeling weaker. It fundamentally affects your risk of injury. Strong muscles act as a protective buffer for joints, tendons, and ligaments, absorbing forces that would otherwise stress these structures. When your muscles atrophy, your joints bear more of the load, making you more susceptible to pain, stiffness, and conditions like arthritis. It also increases the likelihood of falls, which are one of the leading causes of serious injury among older adults. Weak muscles around the hips, knees, and ankles compromise balance and stability, meaning that even a minor misstep can have severe consequences. Beyond the immediate physical risks, muscle loss impacts metabolism. Muscles are metabolically active tissue, meaning they burn calories even at rest. When you lose muscle mass, your resting metabolic rate drops, which can lead to unwanted weight gain and changes in body composition that further stress your joints and heart. In contrast, strength-based exercises stimulate muscle growth, helping to maintain a higher metabolism, more energy, and better overall body composition. Another key aspect is that muscles don't just support movement. They also play a vital role in hormone regulation and glucose metabolism. Lean muscle tissue helps regulate blood sugar levels and supports the production of hormones that are essential for energy, recovery, and overall vitality. When muscle mass declines, these systems become less efficient, contributing to fatigue, slower recovery, and a feeling of being weaker or older than your years. Walking does very little to counteract these metabolic and hormonal declines because it is primarily an endurance activity rather than a strength-building one. Furthermore, muscle loss after 70 happens unevenly, meaning that some muscles shrink faster than others, leading to imbalances. This can cause one side of the body to compensate for the other, creating awkward movement patterns that put additional strain on joints and connective tissue. Over time, this imbalance can exacerbate pain, reduce mobility, and increase the risk of falls or chronic injuries. Nutrition plays a complementary role in muscle preservation, and seniors often overlook it. Adequate protein intake, along with key vitamins and minerals like vitamin D, calcium, and magnesium, is essential to support muscle repair and growth. Without combining proper nutrition with targeted strength training, even moderate activity like walking will not prevent the natural decline of muscle mass. Recovery also changes with age, and this has a direct impact on muscle preservation. Older adults take longer to recover from exercise, meaning that muscles that are fatigued from repetitive walking without targeted strengthening may not rebuild effectively. This can create a slow downward spiral, where activity leaves you tired and sore without yielding the protective benefits that stronger muscles provide. Functional movement is another critical aspect of muscle maintenance. Muscles that are strong in isolation but not trained for daily life activities don't offer the same benefits as muscles that are conditioned to support real-world movements. Walking primarily uses the legs in a repetitive forward motion, but it doesn't engage the full range of muscle groups required for lifting, bending, reaching, or stabilizing the core during everyday tasks. This lack of functional strength leaves seniors vulnerable to minor accidents turning into major injuries. Additionally, muscle loss affects posture and spinal support. Weak core and back muscles lead to slouching, reduced spinal alignment, and increased strain on the vertebrae and discs. Walking alone doesn't address these muscles effectively, which is why many seniors notice back pain or difficulty maintaining posture despite being consistently active. There is also a neurological component to consider. Muscle fibers communicate with the nervous system to coordinate movement, balance, and reflexes. When muscle mass declines, this communication diminishes, slowing reaction times and impairing coordination. This is another reason why seniors with muscle loss are at greater risk of falls and instability even if they walk regularly. Another subtle but important factor is that over-reliance on walking can create a false sense of security. Seniors may feel they're doing enough simply because they move every day, but without strength training, their body is slowly losing its foundation. This often leads to frustration when they realize they can no longer perform tasks that were previously easy, like lifting a bag of groceries, climbing stairs without effort, or getting up from a chair without using their hands. Emotional health is intertwined with muscle loss as well. Feeling weaker or less capable can reduce confidence and willingness to engage in other forms of physical activity, creating a vicious cycle where inactivity leads to further muscle deterioration. Muscle preservation is also essential for longevity. Studies consistently show that higher muscle mass in older adults correlates with longer life expectancy, reduced risk of chronic disease, and better quality of life. Walking, while beneficial for cardiovascular health, does not stimulate the same physiological processes that preserve and enhance muscle tissue. Finally, maintain.
Strength-based movements are absolutely critical for seniors because they provide benefits that walking alone simply cannot deliver, and yet so many people over 70 overlook them in favor of long, repetitive walks that feel safe but don't address the core issues of aging. After 70, your body needs more than endurance. It needs stability, resilience, and the ability to generate power in everyday movements, and that's exactly what strength training offers. Muscles, tendons, ligaments, and even bones respond to the load that strength exercises provide, which stimulates growth, repair, and adaptation. When you lift, push, pull, or resist weight, even if it's just your own body weight, you're sending signals to your body that it needs to maintain and strengthen those systems. This is fundamentally different from walking, where the same muscles move repetitively but often without sufficient resistance to create meaningful improvement. One of the most important benefits of strength-based movements for seniors is joint protection. Your joints are constantly under pressure as you move, and strong muscles act like shock absorbers, taking on forces that would otherwise strain cartilage and connective tissue. For example, the quadriceps, hamstrings, and gluteal muscles around the hips and knees provide stability and reduce stress on these vulnerable joints. By strengthening them through targeted exercises, seniors can decrease pain, improve mobility, and maintain confidence in their movements. Strength training also plays a pivotal role in maintaining bone density. After 70, bones gradually lose calcium and other minerals, becoming more brittle and susceptible to fractures. The stress of controlled resistance exercises stimulates bone remodeling and strengthens the skeletal system, which is something walking does minimally because the weight-bearing stress is not intense enough to trigger significant bone adaptation. This is why adding even light resistance training can be a game changer for longevity and independence. Another benefit is balance and fall prevention. Walking in a straight line doesn't challenge your body's stabilizing systems enough to maintain sharp balance. Strength-based movements often engage the core, hips, and stabilizing muscles while requiring coordination and control. This trains the nervous system and muscles to work together efficiently, which is critical for avoiding falls, navigating uneven surfaces, or reacting quickly if you stumble. Functional strength is equally important. Unlike walking, which primarily targets forward motion, strength exercises can mimic real-life activities, training your body to lift, bend, twist, and carry safely. This directly translates to everyday independence, whether it's carrying groceries, climbing stairs, or standing up from a chair without assistance. These are movements that walking alone does not sufficiently prepare you for, and the difference becomes stark as age increases. Muscles also influence metabolism, and strength training is far superior to walking in this regard. Lean muscle tissue burns more calories at rest than fat or inactive tissue, meaning that seniors who maintain muscle through resistance training preserve a higher metabolic rate. This helps manage weight, energy levels, and overall vitality, all of which are crucial for aging gracefully. Cardiovascular health also benefits indirectly from strength work. While lifting or resisting doesn't elevate the heart rate in the same way as running, it improves circulation, enhances vascular function, and stimulates hormone release, including growth hormone and testosterone, which naturally decline with age. These hormonal effects further support muscle growth, repair, and tissue resilience. Recovery and resilience are improved as well. Strength-based movements build not only muscle, but also tendon and ligament durability. As these connective tissues become stronger, the body can withstand more stress in daily life without injury. Walking alone does not offer this adaptation, which is why seniors who rely solely on long walks often report soreness, stiffness, and fatigue. Mental health and cognitive benefits are also significant. Performing strength exercises requires focus, coordination, and engagement of multiple muscle groups simultaneously. This stimulates the brain, improves neuroplasticity, and can enhance memory and executive function. Walking, while beneficial for mood, lacks the same level of cognitive engagement. Another crucial aspect is flexibility and mobility. Many seniors assume that strength training will make them stiff, but when performed with proper form and range of motion, it actually preserves and enhances flexibility. Exercises that require bending, reaching, or controlled movement through full ranges help maintain mobility and reduce the risk of injury in daily life. The psychological boost from strength training cannot be overstated.
Feeling physically capable, noticing improvements in strength, and seeing what your body can do builds confidence, reduces fear of falling, and encourages more active participation in life. This is an area where walking alone often falls short because it doesn't provide tangible feedback or visible progress in strength, leaving some seniors feeling that their activity isn't producing noticeable results. Strength training is also highly adaptable. It can be performed with free weights, resistance bands, body weight, or even household items, making it accessible for seniors with varying levels of fitness and mobility. Exercises can be scaled to match ability and gradually progressed over time, ensuring continued adaptation and improvement. Muscle imbalances, which often develop with age, are also addressed through targeted strength work. Walking repetitively uses certain muscles more than others, which can lead to weak spots, posture issues, and compensatory patterns that increase injury risk. Exercises allow you to systematically work on underdeveloped muscles, restoring symmetry and improving overall function. Cardiovascular endurance is supported, not ignored through strength training. Short circuit-style strength routines can elevate heart rate while simultaneously building muscle, offering a combination of benefits that long walks alone cannot provide. Even flexibility in routine design matters. Seniors can alternate strength days with light walking, swimming, or cycling to maintain movement variety, prevent overuse injuries, and keep the body challenged in multiple ways. Another overlooked benefit.
Replacing long walks with a balanced routine that includes strength, mobility, and short, purposeful movement sessions is one of the most effective strategies for seniors who want to maintain independence, stay strong, and slow the aging process. Many people over 70 think that walking endlessly is the ultimate form of exercise, but the reality is that variety and intentionality in movement are far more valuable. A balanced routine provides the stimulus your body needs without overtaxing joints or muscles, ensuring that you build strength while protecting yourself from the subtle wear and tear that accumulates with repetitive walking. Incorporating strength exercises into your day addresses muscle loss, which is one of the primary drivers of frailty, reduced balance, and slower metabolism in seniors. By engaging in resistance training, whether using light weights, resistance bands, or bodyweight exercises, you actively preserve muscle mass and functional strength. These movements improve your ability to perform daily activities, from standing up from a chair to carrying groceries or climbing stairs, making everyday life safer and easier. Mobility work is equally important. As you age, flexibility naturally declines, and tight muscles or stiff joints can limit movement and increase the risk of injury. Stretching, controlled mobility exercises, and gentle dynamic movements ensure that your joints maintain their full range of motion. This doesn't just make exercise easier, it allows you to move more comfortably throughout the day, reducing pain and improving posture. Balance training is another crucial component that walking alone cannot adequately address. Simple exercises that challenge your stability, like standing on one leg, shifting weight, or using balance boards, train the nervous system to coordinate with your muscles more efficiently. This reduces the risk of falls, which is one of the most serious dangers for seniors, and also enhances confidence in movement, allowing you to navigate stairs, uneven ground, or crowded spaces safely. A balanced routine also emphasizes the quality of movement over sheer quantity. Instead of focusing on the number of steps, the goal shifts to how effectively your muscles, joints, and nervous system are being engaged. Every repetition is purposeful, ensuring that your body is being challenged in ways that promote strength, resilience, and long-term vitality. Short, purposeful movement sessions can be sprinkled throughout the day to keep your metabolism active and your body engaged. These mini sessions can include light strength exercises, stretching, or brief intervals of walking, ensuring that your body is constantly stimulated without being overstressed. This approach prevents the fatigue and soreness that often comes from long, monotonous walks while delivering greater overall benefits. The psychological benefits of a balanced routine are also significant. Seeing measurable improvements in strength, balance, and mobility builds confidence, encourages continued engagement, and reinforces a positive feedback loop. Seniors who feel stronger and more capable are more likely to stay active and participate in social or recreational activities, which further supports mental and emotional health. Nutrition works hand in hand with a balanced routine. Proper protein intake, hydration, and nutrient-rich foods support muscle repair, joint health, and recovery. When combined with targeted exercise, nutrition maximizes the benefits of movement, ensuring that every session contributes to building resilience and maintaining independence. Recovery is also a key factor in a balanced routine. Adequate rest, gentle stretching, and perhaps light yoga or mobility work on off days allow the body to heal, adapt, and grow stronger. Unlike repetitive long walks that can accumulate stress, this approach respects the natural recovery needs of a senior's body, preventing overuse injuries and chronic fatigue. Functional training is an essential piece of the puzzle. Exercises that mimic real-life movements such as squats, step-ups, or lifting and carrying objects safely directly translate into everyday ability. This ensures that seniors maintain practical strength that impacts their daily life rather than just endurance and repetitive walking motions. Another critical advantage is that a balanced routine addresses the nervous system, which often declines with age. Coordination, reaction time, and proprioception are all improved through varied movements that challenge the body in multiple planes and directions, unlike straight-line walking, which primarily works a limited set of muscles. Cardiovascular health remains a priority as well, but it is integrated intelligently rather than being the sole focus. Short bouts of brisk walking, stair climbing, or light cycling can complement strength and mobility work, providing heart health benefits without overloading joints or muscles. A balanced routine also allows for adaptability. As your strength, mobility, or endurance changes, exercises can be modified to remain safe and effective, ensuring continuous progress and reducing the risk of injury. This flexibility makes it easier to stay consistent, which is the true key to long-term health. Emotional and social well-being is enhanced when exercise feels purposeful and achievable. Group classes, guided routines, or exercises that can be performed at home with minimal equipment provide a sense of accomplishment, community, and motivation that repetitive walking often lacks. By integrating all these elements, strength, mobility, balance, short cardio bursts, recovery, and proper nutrition, seniors create a routine that supports every aspect of health. It preserves independence, reduces injury risk, enhances functional ability, and even positively impacts mood and cognitive function. The goal is no longer to chase an arbitrary number of steps, but to focus on movements that matter, targeting the systems that determine longevity, energy, and quality of life. Over time, seniors who adopt this approach notice improvements in posture, gait, energy levels, and overall resilience. Everyday tasks